Merhabalar herkese. Merhaba. Sesim geliyor mu? Sesimi duyabiliyor musunuz? Harika. Levy'yi alacağız birazdan. Merhaba. Merhabalar. Levy 5 dakika aramızda olacak. Ben size hafif bir biyografi geçeyim. Levy günümüzün en büyük Rossini şarkıcılarından, yeni jenerasyondan. Güney Afrikalı. Cape Town'da okudum. Oradan Almanya'ya geldi. Dresden Opera Stüdyosu'na katıldı. Ondan sonra Riccardo Frizza, Gabriele Ferro gibi çok büyük Rossini ustalarıyla, Giacomo Sacripanti, Ottavio Dantone, Minkowski gibi çok büyük şeflerle çalıştı. Salzburg Festivali, Münih, Hamburg, Berlin, Rossini Festivali, Barcelona gibi çok büyük sahnelerde yer aldı. Genelde rolü Ramiro, Il Barbiere di Siviglia, dünyanın en büyük yarışmalarını kazandı. Buna Operalya dahil, Placido Domingo'nun. Şimdi alalım Levy'yi, yazalım bakalım nerelerde. Okay. Aynı zamanda süper bir tenis oyuncusudur Levy. Üniversite yıllarında piyano ile başladı. Hakkında şan yoktu. Piyano ve orkestra şefliği ve koro şefliği ile başladı. Ondan sonra tenorluğa başladı. Çok iyi bir hocası var. Oradan Avrupa'ya açıldı. Zaten bir anda Operalya'yı kazandıktan sonra dünyanın tüm tiyatrolarında devam etti. Tabii Covid yüzünden bir sürü kontratı hepimizin iptal oldu. Barcelona'da Semirami'de söyleyecekti, iptal oldu. Münih'te Almaviva, Dresde Almaviva söyleyecekti. Los Angeles ve Viyana Staatsoper bir sonraki, Viyana Devlet Operası ve Los Angeles bir sonraki şovları. Bakalım. Ciao Levy, vieni. Vieni, Levy burada. Ekliyorum Levy'yi hemen. Hop. Bekliyoruz Levy'yi.
Hey!
Hey, ciao bro.
Ciao bro!
Come va?
Bene, bene, tu? Come stai?
Bene, benissimo.
Bravo.
Dobbiamo parlare in inglese perché così capiscono meglio tutti quanti, va bene?
Va bene così. Dai.
Okay, so we are going to speak in English. Here, Levy is with us. Thank you for joining us, Levy.
Hi, everybody.
I was talking about you.
Cheers.
I read your biography a little bit. I read about your Rossini adventures now with Riccardo Frizza, Ferro, Sagripanti, D'Antone, Minkowski, and I read the theaters and the festivals that you performed.
Yes.
Salzburg Festspiele, Salzburg Festivali, München, Munich, Hamburg, Berlin, Rossini Festival, and Barcelona. Then I told people about your canceled performances of Semiramide Almaviva in Dresden, Munich, and Barcelona. But your next performances are quite amazing, Los Angeles and Vienna Staatsoper. So do you want to start a little bit with them, or shall we go immediately to your university years where that everything had begun?
I mean, yeah,
What do you
I think we can go from the bottom and go up. So
Cool. Burak says, welcome, Larry. Thank you for joining us.
Larry is joining us.
No, Burak says, welcome, Levy. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, okay. He wrote Larry. I saw Larry. Okay. Anyway.
So, whatever. So, please tell about your studies of piano. And you studied conducting before becoming a singer, right?
Yes.
So, Levy and me, we are best friends and we are always together, but it's so strange to have him here and interview him. So please tell about your story, Levy, about piano and conducting. And you're still conducting at home. We usually exchange videos of conducting, and sometimes we conduct at home together with a little bit of wine and
going
good
crazy.
food. Yes, go, bro.
Okay. Well, where it all started. It started. I like to say to people that I hope they understand my English. I have the African English.
Of course.
I hope you all understand my African English. Anyway,
maybe we can go slow so that the students can understand word by word.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they are very good. They're very good. The students are pretty good. So where it all started, I like to say to people that my beginning music. I always had music at home. I come from a musical family. My brothers and sisters, my grandparents were musicians. They sang in choirs. Yeah. My grandparents were born in the 40s. And obviously choir music in those years, in the years that they were growing up, were really a big part of African people. I was born in South Africa, and African people song is part of our lives. We sing when we are happy. We sing when we celebrate. We sing also at funerals when we are mourning. When we are mourning,
interesting.
Yeah, when we are mourning even people that we love, we sing it because for us, music is the way to get through life, to get through difficult situations. Music is the way to get over situations, to celebrate. Music is celebration to us. Also, it calms us down when we're in pain. So my grandparents, they brought this singing life to the family, and they passed it on to their children. And my mother, so obviously, and her siblings. And then one of my mother's siblings is a very close brother of mine that we grew up together.
Okay.
He became a conductor himself. He became a classical music. But you see, I wasn't born a musician. I was born a sportsman. So when I started, I played football. I played soccer. And this was my first passion.
Okay.
This was my first passion. And I was really good. I was so good that I had made up my mind, I think about at the age of 5.
Larry, this sounds like Luciano Pavarotti, he also started as a soccer player and then became a musician.
I mean, JDF.
Yeah.
Everybody. Soccer, football was a huge part of my life. And, South Africa, football also is huge. For us there in our communities, a young boy is, when you start, I mean, we go immediately into playing football, and a career in football is something that everybody sees. It's a normal thing for us in South Africa. So if you make it in football, you make a lot of money and you just enjoy. You inspire young kids. So this was my life when I was growing up until I was about.
Which team were you supporting?
I was supporting Man United actually. English Premier League. I was supporting the Manchester United.
Manchester United.
I know that Arsenal players and Liverpool players, they hate me for that, and Chelsea. But I supported them.
Liverpool is their enemies.
Yeah.
Not enemies, but they don't like each other.
Yeah, and then the La Liga, the Spanish league, I supported Barcelona, as always.
Barcelona.
And it happens still today. One of the
your favorite player in Manchester back then?
When I watched, I was so crazy about Cristiano Ronaldo because that was when he started.
Oh. Okay.
that was when he actually started. So so just up until I was about 13, so music came into my everyday life pretty late. I think I started to study the piano at 15, 16 when I moved to
15. Okay.
When I moved to a boarding school in Cape Town. And I was on a scholarship for 3 years. I was very lucky. I was really one of the luckiest kids in South Africa, in the whole country. I was one of the luckiest kids.
Amazing.
Because I was given a scholarship and a lot of money to to be separated from my family, from my parents.
Great. Amazing.
At that age, at 15, I was separated.
What
from my
was
family.
the scholarship from the high school itself?
Yes,
or
it came from the high school, and the good part is that the high school had a choir which was called the South African Youth Choir, and it was a big choir that
you toured a lot with that choir,
I toured a
right?
lot with this choir.
Okay, you will tell about this because this is a big part of your beginning.
Bravo.
Yeah.
And
Go, bro.
so I went to this choir, and this choir had made a big impact in my life because the hostel parents in at high school were opera lovers, and they took me and my friends to operas in South Africa to watch. We were stood up. We were 15 years old, and we went to the opera to watch. And this was the This was the first time I watched opera ever in my life.
What was it?
We watched a concert of it was a gala concert of Bohème and Tosca. It was just a celebration of Puccini. I don't know if you know Albert Horn. He's a pianist, a South African pianist and conductor living in Wiesbaden. He's the chorus master there, and also he's a conductor. His parents, these are the parents. They're the parents that took care of us in high school, and they took us. Pretty and they sang in this concert, in this gala concert.
Okay.
And she was not yet that famous, or she had not yet left South Africa. She was still, I think, in university then.
Did she also study in Cape Town at your university?
We studied in the same university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So so I at 15, I started to play piano. I had piano lessons, and then when I finished high school, because in South Africa you do high school and then you go immediately into university if you are good enough. So I was good. I was pretty good to go into university, but I was so scared to study opera because I thought, like, how can.
Did you have opera in mind when you were playing the piano?
The thing is, I loved opera because opera was played in my house in Kroonstad, where I grew up. We had my brother was an opera singer. He was a conductor, so he played DVDs. He played DVDs of the Mert, of Levy, doing all those great productions with great.
So
casts.
you knew all those names beforehand?
I knew all those names because of my brother. He really drilled me.
Okay.
I was too young.
When you were a pianist?
And I was not a pianist then. I was not a pianist.
No, when you were studying piano.
When I was studying piano, yes.
Yeah.
My focus was just, what inspired me mostly was that I saw Andrea Bocelli's concert. I cannot maybe remember what it was. I think it was somewhere in Italy, or it was somewhere in the States, where he played the piano. And I loved the piano. The piano for me was the best. My most beloved instrument was the piano, not the voice. And I always had the voice. I sang in choirs and in school, but I didn't have this passion for opera. I didn't. I loved the piano, and I wish that I could just play the piano because it was so cool.
You still love piano. You're taking still lessons.
I'm playing. I just had a lesson now, in fact.
Yeah, I know. With the husband of your voice teacher, right?
Yes, he's a piano professor.
Levy, usually when we meet, for example, last time we met, I was in Bari and he was in Palermo. We were both singing Barbieri di Siviglia in different productions. First, he came to me. He was playing piano in my dressing room. Then I went to Palermo after the production. He accompanied me, all the arias. We did from Traviata to Il Viaggio Rhymes, and you played everything, Yes. You always practice. You do these challenges online with pianists, Yeah.
Well, I'm not good enough to take on those guys.
It's really important. Do you want to tell the young students that playing an instrument is
very important?
It's really important, right?
Look, if you have the gift to play the piano, I don't have the gift to play the piano, to be honest with you. I'm not naturally a pianist. I'm not naturally a pianist. I'm a singer naturally.
Okay.
So which is something for me that I always knew that I had. But the piano was something that I really loved, and that that fascinated me, and I knew that I didn't have the skill, or I didn't have the talent, because the talent, if you start young at 4, or like the kids, some kids, they start at 3, others start at 6, others start at 10. But if you start after 10 years, you are too late. And I started at 15. So I was already too late. I didn't have the
Oh,
skill.
okay.
So
So how did you go to, like, at which point you said, okay, I need to leave studying piano and I have to go sing?
it's a very interesting question because when I did my first year in university in Cape Town. I was a piano student and a voice student, so I did a double major. But my focus was
Okay.
more on piano because I wanted to be really good. So I was working every
Okay.
single day, every morning at 6, playing scales, playing. I mean, I was a typical pianist, you know. I was going outside to drink
Yeah.
a coffee every 2 hours and go back inside to practice. And when I reached third year, the director of my opera school, Kamal Khan, you know, he was from the Met. He worked in the Met for a decade
Yes.
under Levy. He was a
He accompanied the last recital of Prettyende in Carnegie Hall.
Yes,
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Fantastic, amazing guy.
Great pianist. Great pianist.
Great conductor, and I mean a genius of opera. A genius of opera.
Yes.
This guy, he really came to my school and he revived the school and turned it to be what the school is today. And I was very lucky to be one of his students. And he said to me, listen, you are a great pianist now already, because I had some skill already, you know, at third year.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him, I used to go to the office and we would jam some songs. He would say, do you know this? Oh, do you know this Greek concerto? And we would play all these things together. And he said, and we would also have singing lessons. And he said, but look, your voice is developing much better than the piano is. So I think I think you should make the voice
focus
your main focus. I said, I will do that. I'll do that. And then I just switched. I continued to study piano, but I just switched the main focus.
What were you singing at the beginning? Scales or just?
In university, we were given, as a first year, you were not allowed to sing arias, like big arias, like Una furtiva lagrima, you were not allowed to touch.
Yeah, which is good.
You were not allowed to touch. You were not allowed to touch opera. In general, opera you could not touch. You could sing all the aria antiques of Italian songs. Like
what was your first, Levy?
My first one was Tu lo sai da di da da da.
A legato piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also I sang Caro mio ben. And then I sang Se ben crudele mi fai la. All these songs.
And your voice back then, do you remember? Do you recall your voice?
I do.
At the first years,
you would laugh if I can.
It changed, you know. It changed. Your voice changed a lot in the last 2-3 years.
It did,
you know,
it did.
We always see each other, and I hear you in the theater, in the room. Back then, how was the voice like? You know, after being the choir singer, you are singing all the time, and this teacher of you comes and says,
Man.
okay, you're focused on the opera, and you go, okay, now I'm going to be an opera singer. I'm not going to sing like this anymore. Or you just sang naturally.
I sang naturally because I imitated. No, so here's the thing is that I used to watch Luciano Pavarotti. I used to watch Rolando Villazon when he became the big star. Early 2000. I didn't know about JDF yet or Larry, anybody.
Okay.
JDF
is Juan Diego Flores. He always calls him JDF. And Larry Brownlee is another fantastic Rossini tenor, which I will have the privilege to interview him in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. You should come.
I will tune in. I mean, I love both of you guys, of course. I didn't know about any of them. I didn't know about Juan Diego. I didn't know about Larry. I didn't know about Gregory Kunde. I knew only about Rolando Villazon, Roberto Alagna. But Villazon was, for me, the one that really pushed me to really focus on this thing called opera, because I saw Elise d'Amor from Vienna State Opera with Anna Netrebko, which was the most, the most amazing performance.
And now you're going to do the same production by Otto Schenk in Vienna Staatsoper.
15 years later.
The same production, 15 years later. Amazing, isn't it? The dreams come true.
But I told my mother this story because I bought the DVD when I was 16. When I was 16, I bought the DVD and I went home with it. And we played the DVD every single day. And my mother and my sister were crazy about Orlando. We're like, oh my God, he's so great and he can act. And I was singing all this. I knew Elizir out of like the whole score. When I was 16, I knew it completely the whole opera. And anyway, so this was for me where the passion for this thing came from. And then I did my first degree in opera, which was, I did a BMAS in opera with piano. So when I finished piano, I said, okay, that's it. Now I can play the piano-ish, I can kind of play the piano. And the director of the opera schools came to me and he said to me, you know, I'm going to do the Bow of Seville next year.
Okay.
And this was in third year. He said to me, I'm going to do Bow of Seville in your fourth year. And the fourth year was my final year in university.
Like the big school project.
Yes. And he said to me, are you sure you're going to be ready? Because the count has to sing Cesa and has to sing 3 arias and has to sing so much. I said, I don't know. I think I'll try my best. And at the time, my voice was I was suffering a lot vocally. I was covering a lot. I was singing like a lyric tenor because I thought I was a lyric tenor. I was like,
okay.
I was trying to sing.
Let me write this down. Then I'm going to ask you about this.
I was trying to sound like Rolando, you know, singing. And I had vocal problems also. I had vocal problems because I think I had nodules as well in university. I changed 3 singing teachers in 2 years. 3 singing teachers.
Oh my God!
You cannot imagine. I changed 3 singing teachers.
How did you, move on with all these problems? What did you focus on?
I don't know really because it was so tough and I lost confidence in myself and it was so tough. I failed exams, school, like university exams, singing. I failed singing. Really, I got really bad marks for singing. Can you imagine university? Because my voice, I had no technique at all, nothing. And my voice was really so light. It could not sing beyond my bathroom. You know, the first singing teacher left. She went on sabbatical, which means she took a break. And when she left, a different singing teacher came in to fill in for her. And this teacher was very, very good. What she did is she said, listen, you are covering your lips, open up and show your teeth, your front teeth, so the sound can go. I learned that from her. But when she left, I was still really bad. And then came the third one. And the third one is the one that changed my life completely and made me what I am today.
So you recently told me a story about your last year that you went to school because you were in a boarding school and you didn't go home. You stayed the last year, the summer in the university, and you said, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to prepare those arias, go and blow up and So tell about this determination so that we can move on.
So this is going back to what the director of the opera school said. It was in my third year, and I was doing pretty well vocally. Now, after changing teachers, she changed my voice in 8 months and lightened it up, gave me Bach, gave me Handel, gave me all. So
you sang a lot of instrumental music.
Yes, I did.
So people don't do it anymore. Everybody's like, I
mean, people have to understand that you've got to build foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, you are really you're gonna die later on. Anyway, I move on. So this guy says to me, listen, your voice is doing so well. This is Kamal, my professor. He says to me, you are doing so great and your voice is lightening up. You are singing fast coloratura. My coloratura was already really good when I was in third year. And the high notes were kind of okay. And then he said to me, I'm doing Bow of Seville next year and prepare the arias. And next year when school opens, you will be in fourth year. We do Bow of Seville, but I want to hear how you do the recits and how you sing the recits. I stayed. I didn't go home that December break. I stayed in university for 1 month, and I learned the first act of Barbier de Sevilla with recits, and I heard about Juan Diego Flores, and I was like, oh wow, okay, there's this tenor, he's singing Rossini, maybe I can be like him. And then I watched his videos, and I said, oh, there's another one, Gregory Kunde. Oh shit, and I watched the videos, and I said, oh, there's another one, Lawrence Brownlee, and I watched.
So then you had the Rossini taste, the bel canto singers popped up like this.
I did.
Okay.
I did. So I stayed. I watched videos. I watched DVDs. I watched CDs. I watched YouTube. And
did you learn a lot by watching?
I learned a lot by watching because I never sang out. I always imitated in the falsetto. Like I would, for instance, I would listen to, let's say, one day I was singing Ecco Ridente, or the first parts, no? I did this for 1 month, not singing out. I never went out to sing. I always did like this, you know?
Okay.
So that I understand what the voice is doing.
To have the taste of it.
Yes, it's very important that you don't sing out in the beginning. You sing what the voice does in the falsetto, it's able to do in the big voice. And the trick for us singers is to bring what the voice can do in the falsetto into the full voice. This is a trick. This is a trick, because you've got to understand that the muscles have to suddenly engage. So you're not doing it only on the voice. And the voice has to get used to it first. So this is what I did. I never sang the high notes. I always imitated the high notes. For 1 month.
Another African tenor, totally different vocality, a Wagner singer, Johann Botha. He studied with the teacher that I studied for a short period of time, with David Jones.
Oh, wow.
And David Jones once wrote an article about him, and he said, before opening for Otello or a Wagner role in the Metropolitan, which is a huge stage, he used to go into the room and sing everything in falsetto.
That's right.
He vocalized hours and hours with falsetto, and everybody said, how are you going to do it? You don't warm up. Just do proper warm up. Don't do falsettos. And he's like, you'll see. So, yeah.
This is it.
Every type of voice. Also, Wagner voices can do this. Not only Rossini and Bellini and Donizetti singers.
The voice has to get used to it. I mean, you know this. I still do it even now.
Yeah.
I take I never pushed it until the day I tell you I'm going to do it. And that's the first time I do it in full voice. And then it's there because I spent all the time, the weeks, doing it in my falsetto. Anyway.
So this helped you? This helped me, yes. And you went to your professor and you said, I am ready.
And he heard, and he helped me with the rest. The rest were my big problem because I couldn't articulate in Italian. I didn't, of course, at that age we didn't speak the language, and we were in university. We were learning, but we did operas in the original languages. And he said, "Wow, you'll be my first count." And I had a big success being the Almaviva, and I was 20.
20.
Yes, I was 21, between 20 and 21 when I was in my 4th year in university, and that's when I did Pazartesi with Cessa di più resistere. I remember.
My God,
this was crazy, really.
Yeah, it's now you're singing it everywhere.
Yes.
Cessa di più resistere.
I'm very lucky. I mean, it's really interesting how life stands out 10 years later.
Then you came to Europe after this preparations. You came and you were in the young ensemble of Semper Opera Dresden.
Yes.
That's where we met at the first place.
Yeah.
And then you were going to Chemnitz to do La Cenerentola, and you were doing also other roles.
Yes.
You did a Baroque role, Alcina, in Alcina, right?
Yes.
In Semper Opera.
I did, I did Alcina.
Yeah.
What else did I do in Semper Opera? I also did like some concerts. We sang in concerts in a young ensemble.
So let's talk about the competitions, which is the kind of the same period.
Yes.
So do you think that in modern world the competitions are important or not? How did you prepare for them? How did you go on the stage and win Operalia? Domingo was conducting finals. And how was your experience about this?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to say that because if you say, the minute to say competitions are important, and this is what every young singer should do, then you put nerves into people, because they think, but I don't think I'm ready for the competitions, and I keep going and I don't do well. No. I think competitions can be helpful, and they can be not helpful at the same time. So it's either you are made for competitions or you are not. But I
never did a competition in my life.
And there you are.
I went to Italy, and then the artistic director of Dresden came. Okay, here's your contract. He gave me when I was studying in Italy. So then a lot of But in the competitions, everybody sings Nessun Dorma and all that stuff. And you went there. You started with Rodrigo from Rossini's Otello, which is fireworks, which is the duetto di due gatti. I don't know how you say it, the cat
The cat duet. The cat duet.
And probably nobody was expecting it, you know, from a singer.
No,
because
I think Rossini tenor didn't win the big international singing competitions in a long time actually.
Yeah.
Until me, because
Yes.
the years that I won competitions, baritones were winning, some tenors were winning, but really big parts like dramatic tenor.
Big voices,
but the Rossini tenor didn't win. It was actually in a
So
long
how did you
time.
prepare for that? Did you say, okay, I'm unique in this, probably there are not so many Rossini tenors.
Yes.
I'm going to go to that rehearsal room after the first round and sing like this, so Placido Domingo will go, okay, we have a winner.
Yes.
Did you think about those things?
Of course. I started my first competition, which was a Belvedere opera competition, the very first one that put me on the limelight, to say. It was really, I was so nervous, but I didn't even think that I would win. And the people that were in the finals, if you look at them now, they're superstars. Like Lisa Davidson was second in this, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody thought she was gonna win. I also thought that she was gonna win, to tell you the truth, because it was crazy that competition. But somehow, I mean, God was really with me. And I won that, and then I went to Montserrat Caballé also.
But come on, you were so determined. I remember you passed the arias also after, and you know, you won the competition and came to Dresden. We were staying at my place and we were going to the piano to improve things again at the same arias. I remember you doing Anch'io provai le tenere, povero Ernesto, right after winning the competition. So you are never stopping. You're like, man, I won the competition, but this tone was not good, so I'm going to come and we are going to study.
But this was before Operalia, you know, because then after the other ones like Montserrat Caballé, I won.
You sang una furtiva in Montserrat Caballé, right?
You won't believe that. I sang also La Mi Fu Rapita, so I sang a mixture of things.
Really?
I sang also Guillaume Tell.
Okay.
I sang a mixture of things. I was really just trying to show that I can do much more than that, and I won. Anyway, so then when I went to Operalia, I had experience with competitions, and I knew that, okay, I don't have nerves. It's either I win or I don't. You know, if I'm good on the day, I win. If I'm not good on the day, I don't win.
You weren't nervous, because I remember before going on stage, you called me. And you went on stage and you did amazing piani. You were singing so piano. So somebody with nerves cannot sing piano because it requires a lot of control.
That's right.
Even if you're nervous, your breathing control, you were obsessed with breathing.
Yeah.
And you did piani. This is really rare in a tenor. How do you do this pianis? What do you feel? And do you think that they are really communicative with the public, like all the high notes and the coloratura? I think this piano is so beautiful because you have a round, sweet tone. And
a greatest pianist said, a greatest pianist, I cannot remember it. I think it was Rubinstein, or it was maybe Barenboim, but they said that the music is always in the silence. Music is in the silence, or the music is in between the words, and we have the text. So in between the words, we have nothing. We have just silence. Yeah. So, and also this great pianist said that he uses the silence in the music to capture the audience. And if you can do that as an artist, that's a very good skill, because it will stay with you and it will win you. It will win you in every performance you do. If you can bring the audience to concentrate, that's something difficult as a performer to do, or as a comedian, to stand in front of people and make the people concentrate on what you're doing. And this is how it is. I mean, I started, you know, the first chord is pa-pam, pa-pam, povero Ernesto, but I start like this.
Yeah, you did a mezzo. Oh, yeah. My God.
Which is something that captures the people. It's like, okay, they sit down, okay, we have to concentrate, then they concentrate on you. Okay. So this is a technique that you can learn, you know, that people, it worked for me. It always does. To
Also in the auditions, I remember that you were really always intense and giving 100%, sometimes 200%. When you were singing temperamental arias. I remember the recording that you sent me after an audition of Rodrigo, and when I heard it, I said, okay, we are in a performance right now. So it's really important. You also do this. You engage yourself a lot.
Yes, yes. I mean, sometimes you have to give fuel. You have to give a lot of power in the aria. You have to give a lot of power in the high notes, but also you have to be very elegant, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very.
Do you think that these pauses that you said, the great pianist said that you must think about the silence to capture the attention? When you're singing legato arias like "Cercherò lontana terra dove gemere," you know, do you think that it's the part of that legato line or this tension that you're creating to make people from this to, okay, something's happening on stage? Do you think about those stuff?
I do think about those things because also the way I had to recreate the way I phrase, you know, after hearing great artists like Juan Diego and Larry and Greg and Vengerov, the great violinists,
Vengerov,
like instrumentalists. After hearing them, I had to recreate my way of making music, which was not just based on the words or on the breath. Cercherò lontana terra dove. You had to start from somewhere and go somewhere. And pianists, instrumentalists do this. They have to work like this because they don't have words. They have breath and sound. So we have to understand where they start and when they stop, and that's a phrase. And for us, we can also do the same thing but also we are helped by the words because the people understand the text. Okay, he's speaking about what? I'll go somewhere to find peace because now I'm not wanted here. And that, it goes somewhere. And this I had to relearn. You just use the pianos to capture the audience. Yes, I use that a lot. I think about that. But then once the aria starts, I am now in a battle. I'm on the battlefield. Now the work has to start. The real work has to start. Now the people have to listen. The people have to listen. You have their attention. The people have to listen. You know, it's like, look, this is a way it could work for you. It could work for the listeners. Maybe it does not work for them. Maybe they believe, okay, if I stand, boom, I sing. I'm on voice. Vocally, I give. The audience listen anyway. That's fine. But for me, it always worked. If I did that, if I tried to capture the audience attention, bring them to me so they focus, and then everything starts. The phrasing starts. You have to communicate. You have to become a person. You have to become a character. You have to show. You have to This is my way. This is my way.
Okay, your way. This is the way. So backhand or forehand?
Both.
Why both?
Because
like high notes or coloratura?
Both. Why both?
Both.
Why both? Because if the ball comes to the right and you have to take a forehand, you're gonna take a forehand and you might get a really good shot. But if it comes at your back, what you're gonna do? You cannot use the forehand. You have to use the backhand. And if your backhand is
you think those things when you're playing tennis, I know. Do you think these things when you're in a performance where you have difficulties? For example, you're on the stage in a competition, an opening night in München. Do you do, okay, this phrase was not good, so I have to go back a little bit and put a backhand in it. Now I'm good, I have to go and do a backhand and forehand. Do you organize your thoughts during the performance?
Exactly. Like like in tennis. Just like in tennis, you have to be great at all things. You cannot be great at coloratura but your high notes are bad. I mean, you cannot have good high notes and then you have bad coloratura and bad phrasing. You cannot do that. You have to have both. So I organize myself this way because I know that the people get more and more excited when you do new things during a performance. You know, when you give an amazing high note, they go, wow, okay, and then you start to sing a phrase with legato and when you start to sing the text, and then coloratura comes. When coloratura comes, if you can articulate it really good, it makes the audience happy. They go, okay, we have a full singer in front of us. You know, we have a great.
So you have the level. Federer or Nadal? Roger or Nadal? I know the answer, but you have to say it.
Of course,
Federer or Nadal?
of course, Roger Federer. Of course.
Okay, Nadal is going to be upset, Levy.
No, I love Rafa. Rafa is
Yeah.
a genius himself. Of course, I love him too. I love him. But of
You know,
course-
lately Rolex sponsored you because Rolex knows that you love tennis, and you went to Africa to watch the tournament, you know, and you were seated next to who?
The great
Hey, Yo-Yo Ma.
Yo-Yo Ma, yeah.
You were seated next to Yo-Yo Ma, yeah. How did that go?
That was amazing. One of the greatest experiences in my life. You know, I was very lucky. After Operalia, of course, I have this relationship with Rolex, but I'm not. They didn't sign me, so don't get ahead of yourself. It's just that they are very kind, you know.
Okay.
And they invited me to South Africa in a match that was sold out 10 minutes after the tickets were open. Like the ticket office opened. 10 minutes later, the whole match was sold out. 10 minutes later, which is, it's crazy. And I thought to myself, okay,
Amazing.
I'm not gonna try to buy a ticket because firstly, I'm not gonna get a ticket. And it's in South Africa. I have to fly there, and it's gonna be complicated. I probably won't make it. And I really I had given up that it's not gonna happen. And like something like 2 weeks before the match, I got an email from Rolex saying that we're gonna be in South Africa and we know that you wanted to be there, so you can come with us and be there and watch the match. It's gonna be nice. I was like, wow,
Amazing.
yeah. So I went there, and it was amazing to be around all these great artists like Barbara Hendricks. She was there too. The greatest
My God.
artist in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
Yo-Yo Ma was there. He gave a live concert in a big venue in Cape Town, playing the Bach's cello suites for like 2 hours. It was incredible. So yeah, that was a good experience.
Back to the backhands and forehands.
All right.
You told me about the phrasing and the concentration and going on to the bottle on stage. No? When you sing sacred music, the last sacred music concert that you did, we were together. You were in Paris. You did Messa di Gloria, which is a amazingly hard piece, one of the hardest pieces written for a tenor.
Yeah.
So there, with this gesture, you reminded me of Miserere that you did on stage. So even the words, sometimes in sacred music, they don't, you know, they're not like in an operatic libretto.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to repeat the words. Sometimes you have to be really contained
Ciao,
in your
Dory.
soul. Ah, Dory is here. Hi, Dory. So, do you apply the same thing in sacred music too?
Sacred music.
Let's say the intention on the phrasing or something like this.
Here's the thing, like a lot of sacred music was written by greatest composers of opera, or greatest composers of instrumental music, like Bach. Bach wrote fantastic instrumental music, and he wrote sacred music based on his cantatas, was basically sacred music coming from the Bible and set to music. I think as an artist, you still have to be an artist. You still have to take control of the situation, which means that you still have to give the performance that is needed. You still need to perform the music the way it's needed. So if you focus on phrasing and not the text, I think you lose something. If you focus on the text and then you miss the phrasing of the music, you lose
It is
something.
the same approach then.
You lose something. I think as an artist, you still need to come back and to give what is needed to be given. And I try to do that. Sometimes I don't care about the words. Sometimes I just go, okay, the music is amazing. So I'm just going to phrase.
Which methods do you use for your characters then? When you start a new role? Let's talk about your first experience, your first role after university. When you were alone, when you were not with your teachers who were preparing you.
I did Cenerentola.
Your first contract.
Ramiro was my first contract.
So how did you approach it? Do you have a method?
I was so nervous, and I was so because I knew there was a lot of okay, I was very lucky because there was a lot of agents in that performance in Chemnitz, and there was a lot of expats. Some people were invited, and I mean, it was my first rental after university, first job. So I think I was not so focused on a lot of things like phrasing and all that stuff. I was also very young. I was also.
But beforehand, how did you prepare? Or in generally, you can say in generally, how do you prepare a role?
Now, you mean now or before or then? Because what I did then is.
I asked then, but.
I mean,
okay.
Obviously, then I was prepared by a coach, and I tried my best to be a character and to focus on the text. I didn't speak Italian then, so it was obviously difficult. So I had to focus more on the meaning of the text in order to act it well, you know. And
what do you do now? Differently.
Now I speak a bit of Italian, so the words come into my brain, and it's all like, if you speak the language, you say a word, and the words are part of you, so the gesture comes naturally. So now I don't have to prepare so much. That I just what I do is that because now I have experience also being on stage a lot helped me to find these things, you know. It depends on how much you're on stage. Sometimes you're in a performance and then you are not a good character, but you sang well. The next performance, you sang great, but you were not in character. So these things are things that it's a journey, you know. It's not about preparation, so much preparation. Many people have different ways of preparing, but it all has to. I think the most important part is when you're on stage. What do you do on stage? That and how the preparation is going to pay off. So for me, it's that. So
you sing a lot of Rossini.
Yeah.
For example, when you prepare a Rossini role, is it easier to go on stage with a Rossini because it's your home?
Yes, because I know it. So what I do is I know Rossini's music. I know his phrasing. I know what he's gonna do. I know collaborator is gonna come, so I know exactly what I need to do. Okay. So I don't prepare. So I just maybe I have to.
Learn the music and go.
Yeah, maybe I just have to learn. And I go now. But before that.
So Donizetti, you're going to sing Nemorino in Vienna Staatsoper. So did you know that Donizetti's brother, I think, lived in Istanbul?
Really? Wow.
As a pasha, as a Donizetti pasha in the Seraglio, you know, in the Serail.
No way.
So he composed court music for Ottomans.
Amazing.
So what will change when you're going to do Donizetti now?
Nothing.
It's a new territory. Nothing.
Because I did Nemorino 2 years ago. You were there. It was my debut.
Yeah.
In Wiesbaden. Yeah.
And you were there for my debut when I did my debut.
And you remember that for that debut I didn't prepare much. I just went on stage and lived my life a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, I like to say this to people. Nemorino, it's not. I mean, you don't have to be a method actor and think about your actions and all this. You just live how you were as a young man who used to go crazy on women, and you never caught any, and you were always left stranded and in shame. So it was the same. That's how I was. So I think in Vienna I won't do anything. Maybe I have to focus my my thoughts. Because obviously 3 years later you become a better artist. So you can phrase better, you can sing better, you can do certain things better. I'm going to try to do that, to work on, to make the right decisions. Like we always say, if you have a new role, sit down, just lock yourself away, be alone, and write.
It will be a different theater. So are you worried about the acoustics, or is it always your approach is always the same?
I auditioned there. You remember, right? I think 4 years ago, just after Operalia, I auditioned in Vienna, and it was one of the best acoustics I've ever sung in my life, because the voice was just going. So I'm very excited about that. I think I won't prepare much, really. I'm just gonna work on the things that I can improve.
There's a question from Ilker. It says, what was the difference with your last teacher? Difference of what?
In what way?
I don't know. Let's. There is another. Do you still take singing lessons? Do you have a mentor?
Good question. I don't take lessons anymore of singing. Yeah. The last time I had singing lessons was, the last time I had a voice teacher that I saw was literally was in university, which was 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
So I don't
Okay.
have a singing teacher until now. I know very well what I need to do. I know how my technique works for this music that I'm singing for the last 10 years. I know I know what I need to do. So if I want to get advice, I go to a coach. I work with a lot of coaches, conductors.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of people that have experience in this music. So they just say, listen, you're here, you can.
I can tell that you are all constantly thinking about music. You also talk with your colleagues about music all the time,
Yes.
So you are preparing it all day, I think.
I mean,
There is a video question, Levy. So let's see. Probably it's in Turkish. I'm going to translate it to you. Let's see if you see this.
merhaba, merhaba.
Wait, let's get up to.
Sahneye çıkacağınız gün uyandıktan sonra neler yaparsınız?
Okay, wait.
Merhaba, iyi yayınlar dilerim öncelikle. Benim sorum sahneye çıkacağınız gün uyandıktan sonra neler yaparsınız? O gün içinde nelere dikkat edersiniz? Teşekkür ederim.
Okay, biz teşekkür ederiz. So she's basically saying what you do when you wake up, how do you prepare for the show, what you do on the day of the performance.
It's a very good question. As you know, like
You don't drink.
sometimes I do drink the night before. No, that's
No,
not for the people to know.
Don't tell that kind of things to young students.
No. What I do is on the day of the performance, I think the
Say
day.
say it slow, Levy. Say it slow.
Listen, for me, the night before the performance does not really matter. As long as my voice is fine when I go to bed, it's okay. So what I do on the day of the performance, I make sure that I sleep as long as possible. So I wake up in the morning, I take a run. Normally I would take a run just to wake up the body. And then I would take breakfast, coffee, and then I'll go back to bed.
Sometimes you play tennis too.
I play tennis in Pesaro, in Rossignol Professor. I play tennis every single day, even on the day of the performance.
Also in Palermo.
Yes, even on the
You
days
would wake
of
up.
performances,
Yeah.
I played tennis. But if I don't have tennis, if I don't play tennis much, I run in the morning to wake up the body, eat something in the morning, and then go back to bed. And I wake up like 3 hours before the show starts. I wake up, or 4 hours.
Oh. Okay.
Because sleep is very important. If you want to give a good performance, the body has to be well rested, because you cannot give a good performance on fatigue. You have to be completely. I mean, Barbieri Sevilla is so long. The counting all the time. You're always going in disguise. You have to be absolutely fresh for that. So I sleep. I sleep as long as possible.
Okay.
And yeah, because also the longer you sleep.
And you don't vocalize so much, I remember.
I don't.
I remember our adventure in Torino. You had this concert for Donizete Festival. We were in the car in the morning. We went from Bergamo to Torino with the car. And you rehearsed with Maestro Frizza, Riccardo Frizza.
Yes.
And we went to the room, you did, okay, I have it. And you went there and you just sang the O Fiamma Soave, which is.
Yeah, but like I used to do that more, but then as I grew up, the voice changed, and then when the voice changes, it does not do the things that it used to do back then. So you have to now start adjusting. You have to, like, for instance, I could wake up and go straight into rehearsal and sing a corridente, like boom boom with the high notes. No problem, but I can't do that anymore.
No problem.
I cannot do that anymore.
Okay.
I have to give a little bit of vocalizing. Even if it's just 5 minutes, I have to vocalize. It's important that the voice is warm. I did
Let's slow down, Levy, because it can be fast for the students, maybe.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Like I said that.
No problem. Just saying.
When I was younger, I could wake up, go to a rehearsal at 10 o'clock in the morning, sing a mes amis, or sing a corridente, boom, with the high notes, and I was fine. But then a few years later, I tried to do that, and I really messed up a lot. Also, I did it in a performance, actually, in a very big performance. I went on in Paris by Barbieri Sevilla. Oh my God, that was a wake-up call.
Okay.
In Bastille is huge, obviously, and it was my debut in Opera di Paris, and I thought, I was so nervous because it's Paris. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to stress myself about, I'm Levy and I can do whatever. I can just go on stage and just give a performance. This was my mentality. And I didn't warm up. I went on stage, and Eccodente was a nightmare in the first performance, really.
Okay.
Because the voice didn't go up. It was so.
Okay.
It was.
You
low.
weren't free.
I wasn't free. The voice didn't work, and then free.
Levy, shall we end the first hour?
Okay.
And I will take you immediately again, because I think it's going to close in a minute.
All right.
So stay there. We restart because Instagram doesn't allow us to do more than 1 hour.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Okay.
So, şimdi çıkalım. 1 saat doldu neredeyse aşağı yukarı. Hemen devam ediyoruz. Okay, Levy. Go.
Sesim geliyor mu? Okay. Levy'yi alacağız şimdi. Levy'yi bekliyoruz. Ok. Vieni Levy. Ti aggiungo ora.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
My favorite phrase. Bu Levy'nin son CD'sinden Münih Orkestrası'yla Bayerische Rundfunk'la kaydetti. Giacomo Sacripanti yönetti, Rossini uzmanı. Okay.
Don't stop the music. The people want to listen.
People will go on iTunes and Spotify and to music stores and buy your CD. So, Levy'nin yeni CD'si iTunes'ta. iTunes'ta.
Ciao, Elisa.
Ciao, Elisa. So you were talking about the Barbiere that you went on stage
In Paris.
and it didn't work out how you wanted to.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare because I thought I could just go on but Paris is almost 3,000 seaters. It's huge, and the acoustics are not so bad.
Do you get intimidated by the theater?
Of course, especially if acoustics are not so good, and to do Rossini in a big, huge theater like that, as a Rossini tenor, it's a challenge. You have to be careful because you have to always projection, and it's yeah.
What do you think about projection, Levy?
Look, most of the theaters in Europe have the most amazing acoustic, like Dresden, Munich, Bayerische Staatsopera, Palermo. Also some theaters in Italy, like
Teatro Comunale di Bologna is amazing.
I've never sung there, but
Farinelli used to say "La voce si viaggia," the voice travels.
Firenze, the new theater, it's like this. I don't understand what they did.
Okay.
It's like this.
Okay.
But the sound goes like this, and it's fantastic. And you go up like this. So Firenze is amazing. Most theaters in Italy, like the olden buildings, in Germany as well.
So how was Paris like? You were intimidated?
Yeah,
but it was okay.
Paris is huge. Paris is huge.
But everybody says this. When they are in Paris, everybody gets somehow intimidated.
And I wasn't ready to sing Barbiere di Sevilla there at that time. I was 25, 26. So I was still finding the punto in my voice to help me survive this big theater. But so I didn't warm up. I just went on stage and it was a nightmare. And Frita said to me after the performance, he's like, "Did you warm up?" I was like, "I didn't." He's like, "You can't do that. You have to go on stage and try out." He was like my teacher, this guy. Every single day we worked and he was really helping me. He was amazing. Ricardo Frita was great. He helped me and he was really teaching me because he did these big debuts with Juan Diego Flores many years ago. So he had experience, and we were preparing my CD, the Giovanni Fiamma, because he was the first conductor for it. So every single day we worked, and he said, "What did you work on today? What did you do today? Did you warm up? Okay, I can hear in the voice. The voice have to always be burning, already in the center. For instance, if you start, Levy, a little bit more slower. Okay, sorry, I have to go slower. So he would.
You have this tenor fire in you going to pa pa pa pa pa.
Frita would say,
coloratura in you.
Frita would say to me, "Did you warm up?" I say, "Yeah, I warm up." I say, "Okay, the voice has to be already working in the center, for instance, going from A to E in Feli. He can hear already from A that the voice is not engaging. It's not burning to go. So these things, I mean, yeah. So and he said, "Go, just 1 hour arrive, just before the show starts. Go on stage, fully dressed in costume, makeup done. Go right in front of the pit and sing a corridente." And I did that. The performances were really, you'll be surprised. I was really surprised by the performances I gave after that.
In Palermo, the last time that I heard you sing Barbiere, which is not the first time, the last one, your voice was really generous in Equidente.
Thank you.
Yeah. The voice changed a lot.
It's something that obviously the more you do this job, the more you discover a lot of things about yourself. The more you realize that the voice does not work this way, but it works this way. These things.
So what about the acoustics at home in Munich at your place? How was your relationship with the neighbors, Levy?
Well, I'm not singing much here. I'm not singing a lot here. I tell you. Just sometimes, if I want to make a challenge with the tenors, or if I want to be funny on social media in the kitchen, I just belt out a high note. But
Burak asks, sorry to interrupt, because it's the second time that he's asking this. What do you think on stage when you sing pianos?
What do I think on stage? Wow, when I was
what do you think? What do you do? How do you prepare a piano? Where is the origin of your piano?
Look, voices. I like to say that different voices are different, and each voice has to find its own way of doing something, of doing piano, of singing contralto or high notes. So I think with piano is the same. Your voice. You have to find out what your voice needs and how you can make the piano effect with your voice. Pavarotti had not an easy voice in terms of sound and control. I think it's something that he really learned to do. But his pianos were always amazing because they were always full and you could always hear them. But he went away from the body, but you still heard the voice, which was amazing. For us, it's impossible because if I go off the voice.
For us, who are us? Are you referring to?
I'm referring to tenors.
Lighter voices.
To lighter voices.
Okay.
This is something that I've realized that if I make a piano and I try to do it like Pavarotti's voice, which means I go off the voice, I lose also. I have the color I have that I am intending, but I lose the projection in the piano. You understand? Mm-hmm. So. My pianos, I have to engage the body a little bit more. Okay.
And what's your sensation when you're doing the piano?
Um,
Do you feel something particularly different in your body? Or it's the same as forte?
of course.
Oh, Larry is here. Hi, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Larry, we talked about you like
Talking about
5,
you.
10 minutes.
We're talking about you, how you're the best tenor in the world, and how you changed all our lives.
So, Lawrence Brownlee bizimle. İkimizin de idolü. Hepimiz de aynı menajerdeyiz şu an. Levy de ben de Lawrence Brownlee'de. Harika bir tenor. Burada olması çok güzel oldu. Baştan beri onunla ilgili konuşuyorduk. Okay. Hi, Larry. So, do you have any sensation?
Yeah, of course. There is some. You have to feel something if you do these things. If you sing a high note, you have to feel the muscles working. Also, the same. My singing teacher used to say that it's the same way. If you want the piano to be effective, you cannot go off the voice. You have to make because what is going to help the piano to have effect is the body. So the body has to be there. It's just that the voice, something is happening in the voice. So you go off. Maybe you go off the voice. Yes, you do go off the voice, but you have to engage the muscles to keep the piano with substance. I don't know. This is the sensation. This is something I feel always when I do that. So my body is constantly working. So it doesn't mean you sing in phrases and the body is engaging and you're working hard. But when you have piano, it's like...
It's amazing that Fritza said he would understand from
Exactly.
he would understand from the air, yeah.
And what makes that? What makes that is the body. The body is engaging already from the beginning.
Okay. So, we talked about Paris. We talked about your first Barbiere. What was the most special production that you did so far for you?
Where I felt...
Which is dear to you?
I mean, I really cannot say. I think I've had fairly pretty good productions.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I know that you loved München Cenerentola. You felt really amazing there.
That was amazing. From the audience side, the audience love Rossini. It's a German audience. Larry.
Do they laugh a lot? Do they laugh a lot in Munich when you are doing Barbiere?
You have to be really clear with your actions on stage. Otherwise, they don't understand. Okay. You know, you have to be more funny. You have to do something, because if they just read, maybe they read because they laugh because they are reading. But if you want to be also funny, the body has to be clear with your actions. Otherwise, yeah.
But Barbiere is an amazing role because it's where you get to act, like yes. more than Memorina, more than every role maybe in the buffo, not opera seria, but in this comedy repertoire, Yes. Also, Larry said in one of his interviews that he loved Barbiere because a lot of acting and you're always on stage.
It helps you to become a better artist, Barbiere. It helps you because you have to go
in Berlin, my experience in Berlin and in Dresden, everybody loves when you do Fledermaus, Barbiere, all that stuff. How is München?
München is used to great singing, great singers. Larry sang there a lot. Other greatest stars of opera sang in Munich. So Munich, they are used to great singing. They are used to great comedy. So they are used to it. They know how to react, and to go there is really a joy to sing on that stage because the people already know what to expect. So they know that you are great. And they're gonna have fun. So it's and also that production is a production of Ponel, which is iconic. Which is a legendary production that has been gracing our stages for the last year.
And it's recorded for TV with Francisco Araiza.
Yes.
Is Ramiro and Abbado conducting it.
The costumes are amazing. You really feel like a scudiero. Yeah. You really feel like what is a scudiero? A valet, a servant.
Yeah.
You feel like him, and if you feel like the prince because the costume elevates you, and the set as well is so cute. It's amazing. For me, it was one of the greatest experiences.
Great.
In my career.
Great. Do you invent some vocalizers? You told me you didn't warm up. You went to stage on Paris, and it wasn't a good idea apparently.
Now I do.
So did you invent some vocalizzi for yourself, or when you feel different in that particular moment, do you just adjust your vocalizes, or you do always the same stuff?
I try to do always the same stuff, you know, because
Okay. Why?
Because changing can, you know, some people don't like to change. Some singers are so paranoid and so focused that, oh my God, if I change one vocalize, maybe I don't work on bringing the voice forward, and the voice is not forward when I start echo it end, for instance. So I try to vocalize, like, for instance, for my voice, I know that in the big theater singing Rossini, it's going to be difficult. So what do? I need the voice to be as focused as possible. So I can always warm up on focus before I go on stage.
Okay.
Just before Fiorello, ora, it's important that the voice is already there in the mask. So I vocalize in the mask.
How do you do? What's your vocalize for the focus?
I use the
For
vowel,
your focus.
I use the vowel E. So I can go E.
Okay.
Sometimes
You
I
move the voice.
Yeah, so sometimes I change it. I take it to Ü, which is a German vowel for U, umlaut. Ü. And already you feel when you go like this, when you pout, that the sound is buzzing like right in front of your eyes and on your nose. So this is where the
That's your
resonate.
Alfredo Kraus point.
Exactly, it's working.
Yes.
I can do that for 10 minutes and I'm ready for stage. 5 minutes. I know Larry doesn't warm up at all as well. He's
Okay.
well, maybe now.
So about Rossini.
Maybe he does.
About
he does a lot.
Rossini.
Maybe he warms up a lot now, but I know that he never used to.
I will ask him. So we always talked about Rossini. Why do you think all the Turkish people in the Rossini operas are basses, but not tenors? Why?
All the Turkish people.
Yeah.
because they were bass and they were the like Mustafa and what's his name, like Selim or in Selim in Turco in Italia. You know, it's a handsome man with a deep voice coming to wipe all the ladies.
So it's more manly. What Rossini thinks about Turkish men.
I think so.
Okay.
Did he go to Turkey?
No.
He didn't?
No. But he enjoyed, you know, making fun with Turks inside the stories, you know.
Not in Adina. What does
Not in Adina.
What does Buroski? He changed his name.
Burak
changed his name.
Not in Adina.
Burak.
In Adina. Oh no! In the opera that you made you performed in Rossini Festival.
Yes.
It's Farsa Adina.
Yes. The bass baritone or the baritone character there is Mustafa also, right? The Califo. The Califo is the bass baritone. It's like Selimo.
Yes.
Like
so it's still the same.
Yeah, it's the same. And you know, Adina of Rossini is the abduction of Seraglio, like the same opera of Mozart that he wrote. It's like the same, just changed. The story has changed a little bit.
So do you recommend young singers? Do you recommend the young singers to do the same vocalizers before and be persistent and always find the focus in the voice to move the voice?
I think for me, what the audience wants to hear, as an audience, what I always want to hear. This is what I think.
I know that you're going to say the optimum sound.
No. That's too much. That's too much for them. That's too much.
Okay, repeat again then. Okay.
For me as an audience.
Why? It's great. Because this idea, the optimum sound that you always told me that, man, you know, you see Pavarotti doing in Nemorino, the eyes are, you know, it's so focused and he thinks about the optimal sound.
Always.
Like the video that we, you know, Levy sent me a video on WhatsApp yesterday. He was listening to Tosca with Shirley Verrett. It's from Metropolitan, right?
Yes, with Pavarotti.
So Pavarotti's sound, we were talking about the optimal sound. So please talk about the optimal sound and your search for it.
Optimal sound. I mean, first of all,
what is optimal sound for you?
I would like to say that for me, what it means to always have optimal sound is to find the sound that is the most consistent sound in your voice. Consistency, you know, optimal consistency. It's like the sound that if your target is to get perfect phrasing, perfect sound in your singing, which we want as singers. We always want once you open your mouth, you want perfect sound, and this is optimal sound. This is something that you always have to think about it. And when you think about optimal sound, it helps you to work harder in your body, to work harder in your thought, in your thinking. That to think, okay, if I have to concentrate, comes a high note, a phrase. In this phrase, I have to imagine optimal sound to carry it through, to be as consistent as possible. And it helps your technique to stay as perfect as possible as well, because you are thinking about it all the time. And I think this is something that
is it a balanced sound? Is it a even sound? Is it a brilliant, or I don't know? How would you, aesthetically speaking, how would you define the optimum sound concept in your mind?
It's really it's very difficult.
No, but it's a talk about thing. your sound, the Levy optimal sound.
It's a practical,
if it's easier.
It's a practical thing. Before I go on stage, I think always optimal sound whenever I open my mouth. So it's the highest, or is imagining that I'm making the best sound at all times. Always. What happens is that your concentration,
and never sacrifice.
No, your concentration goes higher. Because you always think about it. You see the greatest singers. You see Larry. You see JDF. You see Pavarotti. You see Kraus. Always these guys, when they come to a moment where they have an important part or an area, you see in their eyes that they are not calculating, but they are thinking about it, always optimal sound, because it helps you to imagine it and to always have it.
Okay, good question for you, because you're a Rossini singer, and Giove in Fiamma, you recorded the Rossini arias from different important tenors of Rossini. So, what do you think about the Rossini series operas and the sound which is going to, the question which is going to follow? Do you change your voice when you sing Rossini serio or Rossini buffo? I know that you're not changing, but I want to hear it from you.
Of course. You cannot.
Do you add more chiaro to scuro? Do you add more scuro to chiaro? Something.
That's a technical point.
Yeah. So I want to bind this to the optimal sound question.
I think optimal sound has to be always there in your singing, whether you are singing comic opera or you're singing that. This is there.
You never change it.
This is the ideal. This is the ideal factor of what we do. We always have to have it. This is what every performer wants. This is what the great Bengarov thinks about when he plays the Paganini variations. Optimal sound, he makes it on a violin. It's important because you see the concentration they have
every single note.
When they are playing, every single note is important. These guys are playing from one phrase to another phrase. And this is it. This is it. So the difference between opera seria of Rossini and comic op is that the roles, it depends really on the roles. The music is probably the same, but it depends on the roles you're doing. If you bring
Rubini, the famous tenor, he sang so different roles in terms of character.
Obviously, Almaviva is a comic role. It's a comic role.
Sang by the Otello, which is Manuel Garcia, who created Conte Almaviva, who was a baritenore.
Lindoro.
And he,
Lindoro Italiana. These are comic roles. You have to be.
I think when do you hear me, Levy?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
He sang Lindoro, he transposed it down, I think, the aria. This is what I remember.
So the difference is all in the roles. The comic roles, when you sing comic roles, you have to always have this lightness and fresh sound. But when you sing opera seria, the music is serious. The characters are serious. You have noble people. So you have to be, the character forces you to be more,
do you search for this in your sound? Do you search for this in your sound?
You have to search for it.
How do you do it?
It's, you know, I would say it's a really difficult thing because to achieve it for me it took time. I mean,
Okay.
when I sing Semiramide, like I coached the arias a few years ago, and I was coming with this approach of lightness, which is probably right, because maybe John Sinclair was, you know, Idreno is a king, so it's a serious role. His words have to have substance. The voice has to have more core in it, I think. The sound has to be more serious. It has to have seriousness in it.
Okay.
I think so. You could
What
do this. Our connection is a bit. Is
Do you
it
hear
me?
me?
Is it me or is it you?
I hear you perfectly.
Because your screen is there you are.
We can ask our friends.
Can they hear both of
Cumhur
us?
söyleyebilir misin acaba? Bizi duyuyor musunuz?
Can you guys hear us? Can you see us?
Eğer bizi duyabiliyorsanız sorunsuz lütfen yazar mısınız?
Check it out.
Ah, Xavier is here. Hi, Xavier. I think they hear us.
You guys can hear us? Can you hear us? Everything is fine? Ciao, Xavi. Okay, guys. Okay, as I was saying,
Okay, they hear us.
It's a really difficult question. It's something that obviously when you are as a performer on stage, you have to find out. But for me, I learned that the roles are different, and you cannot come with the approach of Ramiro singing to sing Idreno. Idreno is a king, and you know when he starts in his recits, it's a man. It's a serious man. It's a noble. It's a king. It's a king. It does not have this sparkle. It doesn't have this lightness or approach. It has to have quality in it. I think the quality in the sound is very important.
Okay.
The quality in the sound is very important.
Okay. What do you think about the approach to Mozart and Rossini? Are they brothers or they are different? What do you think about them?
I mean, I think
I'm talking about your approach.
First of all, when we listen to the music of Rossini, we hear a lot of Mozart in it, which for us already tells us how much impact Mozart had in Rossini's upbringing as a conductor.
You know, they used to call Rossini in the conservatory. They were making fun of him. His nickname was Il Tedeschino because he was studying Haydn and Mozart all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt.
Bravo! Thanks for that comment.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, they call him Il Tedeschino because he was trying to find this.
And Mozart was a Handel lover, you know, the Messiah.
Yes, Bach as well.
His transcription of it. Yeah.
So I would say that there's no differences in the music. It's just the differences is in the time and the period that they lived. When Rossini was living, he was going from late classical into romantic period. So the music had to change, but I think the approach was the same. Like if you listen to the early operas of Rossini, like the Italian and Algerian,
Yes.
the comic operas, like Turco in Italia, all the serious operas, but they have a touch of classical music in them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Do you like to sing spiritual songs?
I love spiritual songs. I don't sing much because I didn't sing them. To be frank with you, because I grew up in South Africa, and for us, they were not really part of. I'm back. Can you hear me?
I don't hear you, Levy.
Why?
Just a minute. I don't hear you. Can you talk?
Hey. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but really low. Just give me a second.
strange. All of a sudden, this thing is not
Okay,
so.
it's just a minute.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, not from the headphones, strangely, but I don't know if. Okay, do you guys hear?
I hear you
Okay.
perfect. I hear you perfectly. We can
Okay,
hear both.
so-
They can hear us.
Okay, I'm going to let these go because the phone decided that.
Yeah,
Okay, whatever.
did you charge your phone?
Oh, I charged this half an hour, brother.
Okay.
So,
Um,
so what
So,
was
yeah.
the music, the traditional music?
in South Africa, we have South African traditional music, which is which really depended on the languages, because black people, African people in my country have tribes. We all come from different tribes. They are Sotho speaking, they are Zulu speaking, they are Xhosa speaking.
What
So,
was your language or
this-
dialect like?
My language is Sotho, which is it's typically
Sotho.
African. So I can't. Yeah, Sotho. I cannot say I cannot compare it to any European language. It's just African. It's just African dialect. The vowels in Sotho, I'd say that they're very close to it's that because it's A, E, I, O, U, like in Italian. It's actually like in Italian.
Okay. So you didn't have any
It's like in Italian.
strange
A, E, I, O, U.
transition. Okay.
No. We did. I didn't. And
How was the music like?
and a lot of those languages, it's very indigenous, really, because we have also drums, when we're celebrating and dancing, lots of dancing. Yeah, but we don't have spirituals.
Okay. So it's fast and rhythmic music.
Yeah, rhythm is very important in our cultures. And
Okay.
it's something that we are very lucky with, because coming to classical music, you've got to have rhythm. You've got to have rhythm for classical music. You need strong rhythm inside you, and it's something that we are born with as Africans. It's because our music is so rhythmic. The drum is so important in our lives, in our music.
So all this swing and jazz rhythms from Rossini is in your blood in a way.
It's influence. I mean, I don't know. I know that Verdi's Aida was premiered in Egypt,
Cairo. In Cairo.
Yeah. But I mean, Rossini's music as well. It has a lot of you hear a lot of Arabic sometimes, like in Italiana, and you hear those influences of that.
You know what came to my mind?
Of Eastern,
which was
Eastern
jazzy,
European.
like which is like swing, no?
Yes.
All the syncopations and
Yeah,
all
all
that
the
stuff.
syncopations. Yeah. He was. I mean,
Okay.
Rossini was a genius in making that.
Okay.
So him and Mozart.
So about your CD, we now talked about Manuel Garcia and a little bit of Rubini and the series and the buffo operas. So to sing from different tenors. Was it a challenge to record different arias designed for different tenors, completely different tenors?
Good
Like
question.
for a tenore di Grazia,
Yes.
and then you have a baritenore rossiniano, which is completely another thing.
Yes. Look, what happens in Giovanni Fiamma is that the arias that you see on the disc are not the arias that are specifically written for the tenors. I think there was a mistake.
Yes.
There was a mistake with that, which I spoke about in my interview. Some of those tenors, they sang, like Garcia sang Barbiere, he sang L'Italian in Algeria, and then he also sang Idreno. And then he also went to sing Norfolk. So they always switched, and Giovanni Davide is
They
Yeah,
adapted the
but
voices.
there are arias that were written specifically for them on the CD, and that
Yes.
was I indicated it really well. So for me, in that CD, I was not. The main focus was not the arias. The main focus was to celebrate those guys with the music, you know. So it was not I was not focusing on saying, let's say, well, these arias are written for them, so I want like to do exactly what
No, you of course do them with your own instrument and with your own
yes.
approach.
Yeah, so some of the roles I sang myself on stage. So what I was doing is that I was educating the people a bit more about where this music came from and whom it was written for, and yeah, where it came from, where this music came from. So I chose those tenors because they were important in those days when Rossini was writing the music. They were iconic. Giovanni Davide, singing all the high, the
father and the son, you know,
yes.
both down. Yeah.
And to see that Davide later on, when Rossini writes opera seria, Davide sings the high tenor roles in the opera seria, like because there's always two tenors. There's always Nozzari, and there's always Davide in some of his operas. So Davide sang those roles after singing Turco in Italia, you know. So he would go on to sing is it Oreste in Hermione, right?
In Hermione.
He would sing. Yes, he would sing Oreste. Or he would sing the King Giacomo in La Donna dell'Alba, which is a serious opera. So my idea was the focus was on those tenors to educate the people about them and the relationship with Rossini, and also to show the people, because the people know the arias, you know, but they don't know where the music came from. So I was just trying to educate the people a little bit more about that, about the history of our music, and especially the tenors that used to sing this music frequently in those days.
Yeah, Burak is writing about Star Wars all the time, but Levy is not necessarily a Star Wars fan.
But the force is always with me. Thank you.
Yeah, the force is always with him because he's a believer. No. In one of the rehearsals of Le Huguenot, we were with American-based John Rayleigh, and he likes Star Wars, and
you guys
I was.
Hey, Marta.
Ciao, Marta.
Tesoro. Ciao, Tanso.
Then we came back after doing a musical rehearsal. We were staging it, and he started humming like. I said, "Are you okay?" Yeah, okay, I am.
Burak is so funny.
What? It's like, oh, you know Yoda? Of course. Sing like Yoda, I do. And you know, he was saying, breathing like Darth Vader, I am. Deep breathing. So
you are fixated on Star Wars, on Star Wars, but you are crazy.
Tansel is here. He's saying, ciao, brother.
Yes.
Tansel did a wonderful Handel concert the other day.
Really?
You know,
wow.
It's it was, I think, a series of Turkic stories of Handel and Baroque stuff in Handel Festspiele, I think.
Amazing. I would have loved to hear it. Bravo, Tansel. Bravo.
Yeah.
Me, I do great imitations of who? Of Pavarotti or who?
Yeah, do an imitation of Pavarotti.
A quale crescere tua, l'amore nascente.
L'amore nascente. Ma fa l'indifferente.
Ralph Beck imitation. Oh my God, no, Ralph Beck. I think a long time, you know. No.
Routine nowadays, except from opera. What are you doing nowadays in the Corona? Because your Barcelona Semiramide, your Münchner Almaviva, and your Dresden Almaviva is gone. So
yeah, all my contacts are gone. Don Pasquale in Mannheim. I mean, I lost a lot of some concerts.
What are you doing now?
I became a pianist. Finally, I switched to being a real pianist. So I'm playing the piano every single day. I'm taking lessons online every Monday. I just had a lesson just 2 hours ago. and it's coming really well because my teacher is a piano professor, and this guy is unbelievable. And today we were working on a Chopin nocturne in B major, which I'm studying. It's beautiful. It's like really bel cantissimo. It's really like, it's close to bel canto opera. And he said to me, you know, he asked me a question. He said to me, how do you think pianists, what do you think pianists do to make big sound? Let's say when they are playing a piano concerto of Rachmaninoff or of Tchaikovsky, which is big orchestration, and you have always the piano playing with this big orchestration, like bam, bam, bam. So how do you think we make sound? And how do you think pianists make sound when they play concertos of Bach and Mozart? And I said, well, I think it's the same like in singing. In singing, it depends on the orchestration. If you sing operas of Mozart, the orchestration is not so big. So your voice is really elegant. You can sing elegantly. You can make piano. You can sing stylistically correct without pushing the voice because the people will still hear you. But when you go to Wagner, you cannot sing the same. You need the voice to be strong. You need maturity in the sound. You need to wait. You need the muscles in the body to push over that orchestra, which is really big. Pianists do the same thing. I was learning this as well today. If I'm studying a concerto of Mozart, I have to play always with my wrists up like this, just the fingers working, because that's how I make sound. But if I play Chopin, I cannot do this. I have to go down with the wrists to make the melodies live more. And also, if I want to make,
you have the peso, the
you
weight.
have the peso della parola, no?
Yeah.
I need the peso. I need to feel the peso of the keys. I need to feel the weight of the keys. And I have to play deep down into the keys. And to make big sound, I need to also use my body and my arms, which was something really interesting that I'm learning. So I'm learning to be a pianist, finally.
Which is quite similar to singing, that you have to be within your body. And
yeah, it was amazing to see, really, how he was explaining about these things today, how he makes sound. They make sound when they're playing Baroque and when
so you make connections from tennis to singing, from piano to singing.
Yes, tennis. I got into tennis really late because I was inspired by Larry. Larry is a really great tennis player.
I'm waiting for your tennis match, you know, with Larry in Sicily.
Yes, Larry and I will play in Palermo.
A double recital, right?
Is Larry still watching?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway.
So you're going to do a double recital with Lawrence Brownlee, and we are expecting for a big tennis match. And I will be the referee, you know, sitting there. I can't
play. First of all, I cannot play Larry in a tennis match. Larry is too good. He plays tennis for the last, I don't know, 20 years, to maybe 30 years.
I was in Zurich, you know, him and Petean, I think they were playing table tennis between the rehearsals.
My God.
They were, I said, come on, I want to try too. And of course, I was beaten immediately by Larry. Larry was so nice. No, Mert, don't worry, maybe. And then they started playing. It was like,
yeah,
you know, fast,
like, too fast.
Oh my God,
too fast. No, he's a beast in tennis. Like in Barcelona, when we did Viaja Rams, they played, and I mean nobody could beat him. He was too good.
Yeah,
maybe
I
now
think it's good to have this synchronization of fast thoughts and your body aligned with your mind immediately like this. I think it's really important also in singing. To have different things in life.
Since I learned tennis, I realized also that the whole body has to work, and also you have to start things from the beginning, just like singing. You cannot just go and start singing big arias. You have to start somewhere. You have to start singing short pieces. You have to learn the technique, how it works. So you have to develop your vowels in a correct way and your sound in the correct way with your vowels. And tennis is also the same. You have to always start by how the wrist works. How do you make topspin? How you have to always stop your feet before every shot. Otherwise, you are always running. You know.
You have to prepare like you're on stage.
It's all about preparation. It's incredible, really. And how in between the shots you have to breathe. And how these guys are making so much sound when they take in the ball. For instance, on forehand, they're shouting, but you think, oh, they're shouting. Why are they shouting? They're not shouting. They're releasing the air with the shots. You know.
Yes.
That helps
so it
them.
doesn't build up.
Yeah. So
about the preparation, Levy, can we change topic a little bit?
Let's go.
I'm going to take the keyword preparation. You know, when you prepare or when you re-prepare a role. So you sang the role with a conductor, then after 6 months, you go to a different theater, different colleagues, and of course you have most probably a different conductor.
Yes.
What is your approach on the first day of the musical call, of the musical rehearsal? You go there. What do you want to give to the conductor? You know, it's like a jam session sometimes. Baroque music, Handel, and sometimes Mozart and Rossini. It's this kind of music. It's fireworks and a lot of rhythm. So what's your approach for a role that you sang before with a new conductor?
What I've learned is that different conductors have different expectations from you as a singer, or maybe they have one expectation, which is you singing well and being a flexible singer. Conductors want singers to be flexible, and some singers are not so easy. And I mean, I know me too as a conductor that I would wish that a singer was just very flexible to do not what I want them to do, but to be free to play with music. It's like a communication between you and the conductor. It's not that you have to do what they want. You do what I want. No, the conductor brings the score, and he says, okay, I have to make sure that you are singing that. So my preparation on the first day, I come to the rehearsal and I try to be. I don't try to change anything. You cannot change anything. You cannot try to change and be different, because you are as good as your last performance. And what you did in the last performance, if it was amazing, you try to carry it over to the next production, so that you keep the consistency, and you give. For me, it's to give my best. It's not to. If I don't have a good voice on the first day of the rehearsal, I tell them, listen, unfortunately, I know you expect me to be outstanding today, but it's not going to happen because my voice is not working. So he says, okay, don't worry, just sing a bit so that we understand, we are clear what we do with the tempies. Some conductors, I come, I'm in good voice. He says, okay, let's go, boom, ecco ridente. I give, because he wants to hear, you know, he can tell me some things. Conductors also have experience, especially the ones that are specializing in different repertoires. If you work with a conductor that is a specialist in bel canto music, and you are a bel canto singer, he's always going to give you something, because it's his specialty. He's used to doing it. He's doing this all the time. He can tell you that, I think there you are not breathing, but I think you don't have to breathe there. You can carry it over because it helps the phrase to have this. These are the things that you can learn something from the conductor. So I come to the rehearsal prepared, musically prepared, knowing the score. Some conductors are very strict. They don't allow you to mess up little things. They say, why are you making that? Come on, you are a great singer. You are one of the best Rossini tenors in the world. Why you should be so precise in those rhythms. You should be precise in those the coloratura has to be so good. You can articulate it more there. And it's harder. It's hard to be precise in this music that we sing. And that's the challenge. And some conductors, they push you to do that. Others don't care much. They just say, listen, it's difficult, I know, but just don't breathe there. You know, or just don't do this. Or they say to you, this Rossini wrote because of this. So you can learn something from them. So I come to the rehearsal prepared musically, as prepared as I can, or I can be, so that they can work with me. It's all about working. It's all about work.
So basically you want to be flexible and ready. You don't do something in particular. For example, you say, I'm going to work with this conductor. This conductor is famous for this kind of phrasing and concept. And you don't do this. You just go clean and flexible.
I just go clean and flexible. Flexibility in our business is very important. I tell you, conductors hate. They hate. The one thing that they hate is when a singer is not flexible.
Yes.
They cannot work.
Definitely.
So flexibility in our business,
they want to hate you.
It's important. You cannot be like this. Oh no, you have this aria, then the high note comes, and you have to be. This is part of what we do. our job is to be as free as possible. You have to have studied so much that you are just, everything is natural. And when things are natural, you can be flexible. So you can work. It's all about work. Directors, you know this. You come on stage, maybe you did Viva in a different theater, and you come and you work with a different director, and he's a stage animal, or he's one of the greatest play directors, or he's not so much into opera, but he's more into acting part. He wants you to be flexible. If you can't move your body, you are always like this, you have problems. So you have to be, flexibility is the most important thing. You have to, preparation is important, and flexibility.
Yeah. Yao told us want to ask some questions to you, Levy. Yeah, please ask right here. And then we are going to ask them to Levy. So Levy, you know, we have traditional questions designed by Burak Bilgili, which is the head of the founder of the Opera Forum. What is a clean tone called? What is a clean tone to you?
A clean tone.
Yeah.
A clean tone is a tone.
How do you call it? The clean tone? How do you call it? What's the name for it?
How do I? Sorry, I missed you because you.
How do you call a clean tone?
I call it a clean tone, just as it is. I don't imagine words. I don't call it.
It's a clean tone.
It's a clean tone.
Like real clean tone.
It's a clean tone. I call it a clean tone.
Yeah.
And it all depends on how you do it, really, not on the word itself. It all depends on how you achieve it. How do you achieve it? That's what it is.
That was a joke designed by Burak, but it didn't hit its target. The second question designed by Burak.
So I don't know if he's trying to be funny or he's trying to be, because we are speaking with students and people that love opera, people that want to learn about technique. So I'm trying to be as technical and I'm trying to be as professional as possible. Okay.
So we want to close with a sorriso, with a smile. So did you ever think that you were about to stop during a performance?
Did I think that I was about what?
To stop, that you were pissed off. Maybe some of your colleagues did something, or something really bad happened on stage.
Yeah, many times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You want to share that with us? Okay, I don't remember.
I think one of the performances you were there, and it was a concert somewhere in a very big famous famous concert hall with a famous.
Oh my God, I got you. Yes.
With a very famous conductor, conductor, and a very famous orchestra, and he decided to. After sometimes also, I mean, with colleagues.
How did you
not
deal
so
with it?
much. It was always it was mostly with conductors. With singers, other singers, I don't care because they just.
You know, about the things going on the stage. It was recorded. It was on the radio.
Yeah, I know. My God. I
How did
just
you
hope
deal
that.
with it?
How do I deal with what? With the
stress of it. It was a hard situation, I remember.
I mean, look, the action, the deed was done, or the action, it happened, it took place. So there's nothing you could do. You can't cry about it. If at least half of this concert was a fantastic, not half of the concert, most of the concert was fantastic. So it was really nice for the people to hear, actually. I was quite happy about it. But if it's recorded and it goes on, it goes on. What the people hear, they hear.
Yeah. Show must go on.
The show must go. I can do nothing about it. It's been recorded. The people are there to listen. If they hear, they hear. They know that I'm not stupid. They know that I'm not. But things happen. Mistakes happen all the time on stage. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's just that you have to find your way to get back and to find concentration.
Okay. Okay, Levy, I thank you so much. I think we are going to end it now. We are heading to 2 hours. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us.
That was that long. Oh my God, we can go on for ages.
You know us. We can talk in 6 hours, 7 hours, and we think that it's only 1 hour. So it was a friendly talk, so it's good. Thank you, and hope to see you soon. I will be seeing you soon.
Thank you.
I hope that the students will, learn a lot from this, especially the beginning of your career into the, every student now dreams of winning Operalia and going to the Junges Ensemble and academies of the theaters, and then they want to start, So,
thank you. Really, thank you to everybody that tuned in. It was fun. Sorry if we couldn't get through some questions that they wanted to ask, but
no. So I was following, and I think, let me see if they. Okay, the last question was from Yao, but he didn't ask. Okay, they're thanking you. Okay, so I wish you the best.
I'll come to Turkey one day. We should sing in Istanbul together. We should make a concert.
Yeah. We should do a concert together.
Borowski can organize the concert with his Turkish opera company.
Yeah. With his Turkey in Italia company. You should come here, enjoy the Bosphorus, and have fun. It's an amazing city. It's a vibrant city. It's really entertaining to see different colors from different civilizations. So I invited you many times, but it never happened because you were always traveling. I was always traveling. So I think now, maybe October, now that our contracts are
all finished. Let's start to come to Turkey and go to the beach and eat good food and just relax.
Maybe also meet with some students who are interested in bel canto.
Yes, we could teach.
And we can chat with them, and we can
share.
You can sing.
For sure.
You can coach some singers,
For sure, we should try. We could try this.
And enjoy the food. Yeah, the food. Levy knows Turkish food. We eat good Turkish food a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hug you.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Herkese çok teşekkürler. Görüşmek üzere. Bir sorunuz varsa yine bir iki dakika bekleyelim. I told them that maybe we wait 1 or 2 minutes if they have any questions.
Okay.
But I think
we wait. It's almost 7, right? So 5 minutes left for another question. Otherwise, we go.
Everything was good. Thank you, Rossini Masters. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining, Tansel. Thank you. Teşekkürler.
And all my friends from my Instagram account and colleagues, they will join. Thank you so much.
Please tell them to watch this series of videos, Muhabbet with Masters. Muhabbet is a Turkish word. When we are drinking rakı with you in Dresden or in Berlin, that's a muhabbet that we talk a lot about amazing things, and we drink slowly. That can be defined as muhabbet.
Oh, cool. Ciao, thanks. I love to see you soon, brother.
Okay.
I hope you're fine. Thank you so much. Thank you, Borowski. See you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Levissimo. Herkese teşekkürler katıldığınız için. So this video will go online, and probably a lot of people will see it.
All right.
So thanks for everything. Talk to you soon, brother. Bye.
Ciao, brother. Goodbye.
Ciao, ciao.